Two men, one world. One quiet and invisible, the other a titan of business, heralded for his supreme financial judgment. The first was a humble janitor who swept floors for 17 years. The second was a Harvard-educated Merrill Lynch executive with an MBA. In 2014, their paths crossed in the obituaries. A simple janitor died at 92 with over $8 million.
He left $6 million to a library and hospital and $2 million to his stepchildren. He had lived quietly, investing in blue-chip stocks.
That same year, Richard Fuscone, the Harvard executive, declared bankruptcy. High debt and illiquid assets left him with zero income. Fuscone's financial collapse forced the foreclosure of his Greenwich mansion. A Harvard MBA was completely wiped out by debt. How does this happen? In what other industry does a novice with no formal training massively outperform the most elite practitioner? You will never see a janitor perform a heart transplant better than a Harvard surgeon. But in investing, these stories happen. Because financial success is not a hard science. It is not physics, governed by clean, predictable, cold equations. Today, we are dissecting Morgan Housel's masterpiece, The Psychology of Money, exploring the opening chapters that expose the dark machinery of wealth. We will explore the dark, emotional machinery of greed, luck, and the ultimate test of financial intelligence, survival. Act 1. The Illusion of Rationality. We like to think we are logical creatures who look at spreadsheets and make optimal decisions. It is a comforting lie. No amount of studying can truly recreate the bone-chilling power of real financial fear. Consider the luck of your birth year. If you were born in 1950, the stock market went nowhere during your 20s. A spreadsheet can model a market crash, but it cannot model the agonizing feeling of looking at your struggling family. You wonder if your investments are imperiling your children's future. That is the raw emotion no spreadsheet can capture. This explains the bizarre phenomenon of the lottery ticket. In America, the lowest income households spend $400 a year on them. To a wealthy analyst, this is pure madness. But step into their shoes. They are buying a dream of escape. We are all novices in this modern financial game. The 401k, the retirement vehicle we rely on, was only born in 1978. Act 2. The Siblings of Fate. In 1968, a brilliant 13-year-old boy sat in the computer lab of Lakeside School. His math teacher, Bill Dugall, petitioned the Mothers Club to lease a computer using $3,000 from a rummage sale. That boy was a genius and incredibly hardworking, but his school was 1 in a million. But luck has a twin brother. Its name is Risk. At Lakeside, there was a third member of the gang, Kent Evans. Evans was Bill Gates's best friend. 1 in a million luck put Gates at Lakeside. 1 in a million risk took Evans away. Kent Evans was Gates' brilliant best friend. But while 1 in a million luck put Gates at Lakeside, 1 in a million risk took Kent Evans away. When we judge success, both our own and others, we consistently ignore this reality. If someone else fails, we attribute it to poor decisions. The line between bold and reckless is often a millimeter thick, visible only in hindsight. We praise the lucky, we condemn the unlucky. Cornelius Vanderbilt systematically broke the law to expand his railroad empire, boasting, "What do I care about the law? Ain't I got the power?"
The danger is that we study extreme outliers, the billionaires, and try to extract repeatable rules from their highly unique, lucky paths.
The more extreme the outcome, the less likely you can apply its lessons because it was heavily influenced by luck or risk. The moving goalposts. In 2008, a man named Rajat Gupta was worth $100 million. He had climbed from the slums of Kolkata, orphaned as a teenager, to become the CEO of McKinsey, the world's most prestigious firm. $100 million. In a simple 5% account, that would generate $600 an hour, 24 hours a day. Yet, Gupta wanted more. In September 2008, he learned Warren Buffett agreed to pump $5 billion into Goldman Sachs to keep it afloat. As a Goldman board member, Gupta learned of this deal before the public and immediately tipped off a hedge fund manager. Consider a wildly successful and wealthy financier who, despite his legitimate business success, ultimately chose a notorious path of risk. Why did these men, who already had everything, risk it all for more? The simple truth is they had no concept of enough.
And that's foolish. It is just plain foolish. As the famous investor said, they risked what they needed for what they didn't.
The hardest financial skill on earth is getting the goalpost of your desires to stop moving. If expectations rise, there is no escape. It is a vicious, endless treadmill fueled by social comparison. We compare ourselves to giants and feel broke when we are rich. A rookie earning $500,000 feels broke compared to a superstar athlete with a $430 million contract. The ceiling of social comparison is infinite. The only way to win this dangerous, exhausting game is to exit the casino. Confounding compounding. If you study the geology of our planet, you will find something truly astonishing. The 5 distinct ice ages that froze the Earth were not caused by brutally cold winters, but by slightly cooler summers. The leftover ice reflects more solar radiation, cooling the planet further. You just need compounding to turn tiny changes into glaciers. You do not need tremendous force to create extraordinary results. You just need time and consistent compounding. There are over 2,000 books written about the genius of top-tier investing. Almost all of them overlook the most critical fact: time. A top-tier net worth might be $84.5 billion, but $84.2 billion of that was accumulated after the investor's 50th birthday. Buffett began investing when he was 10 years old. By 30, he had a net worth of $1 million. If he retired at 60, his net worth today would not be billions. It would be a modest $11.9 million. To understand this absurdity, look at a legendary quantitative investor, the founder of a world-renowned hedge fund, the greatest investor to ever live. Simons has compounded at an incredible 66% annually since 1988, outperforming Buffett by a massive margin. Yet, Simons' net worth is $21 billion, 75% less than Buffett's. Why? Because Simons started later. Our brains are wired for linear thinking. If you ask someone to add 8 + 8 9 times, they can do it. But exponential growth is counterintuitive. Good investing is not about earning the highest returns. It is about pretty good, repeatable returns. Earning pretty good returns consistently over the longest period of time is the real secret. That is how compounding works its magic. Getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. Getting rich requires taking risk, optimism, and putting yourself out there. But staying rich requires the exact opposite. It requires humility, paranoia, and accepting that luck played a massive role. In October 1929, the greatest crash in history wiped out a third of the market's value in a single week. Abraham Germansky, a multimillionaire developer, bet heavily on the roaring 20s market and was completely wiped out.
But for Livermore, October 29th was different. Livermore had shorted the market, making him one of the richest men alive.
Yet, his staying wealthy skills were zero. 4 years later, Livermore placed even larger leveraged bets and lost absolutely everything. This is the hidden chapter in this investment story. We talk about two legendary partners, but there was a third. His name was Warren. During the brutal 1973 bear market, Warren was heavily leveraged and was forced to sell his shares. Staying wealthy comes down to three fundamental principles. First, aim to be financially unbreakable, so you never sell in a panic. Second, plan on the plan not going according to plan. A plan is only useful if it can survive reality. Reality is a chaotic storm of black swans. You need a massive margin of safety to absorb the unexpected blows.
Third, maintain a barbelled personality. You must be intensely optimistic about the long term, but paranoid about the short term.
The power of the tale. In 2000, an art dealer sold a massive collection of priceless masterpieces.
He sold the collection for 100 million euros, though its actual market value was well over $1 billion.
Berggruen bought vast quantities of art. 99% of the art he acquired turned out to be of little value. But the remaining 1% were world-renowned masterpieces. He was right about a tiny fraction of purchases. This is the rule of the tale. A tiny number of events account for the vast majority of financial outcomes. We see it in the public stock market. Since 1980, the index has increased more than 73-fold. The entire market's return is driven by tails. A single cloud services tail event saved and defined this major tech company.
Morgan Housel details a fascinating experiment. 3 investors, Sue, Jim, and Tom, with entirely different investment behaviors.
Sue saves every month, rain or shine. Jim sells during recessions and reinvests only when the economy recovers. Sue wins by a landslide. Your lifetime returns as an investor will not be decided by what you do, but by how you respond to the moments of crisis. They will be decided by how you behave during the moments of sheer terror, the 1% of the time. A genius is a person who can do the average thing when everyone around them is going absolutely crazy. What is the highest form of wealth? What is the highest form of wealth? The true answer is not a Ferrari.
Angus, a psychologist, dedicated his life to studying happiness. His research revealed a universal common denominator: control.
Having control over your time is the highest dividend money pays. It is the ability to do what you want, when. A small pile of savings means you can take a few days off work when you are sick without financial stress. A larger pile means you can wait for a great job offer after being laid off, rather than taking a miserable option. Yet, modern society has made a devastating trade-off. We are richer than our grandparents, but have far less control. In 1950, most jobs were manual assembly. When you left the factory, your work stayed there. Today, work follows you everywhere. The legendary entrepreneur Sivers once told a story: how he got rich at 22.
He saved $12,000, which bought him the ultimate luxury, the freedom to quit his job and make music full-time.
Years later, when he sold his company for millions, he realized the exit didn't make a big difference. He was already free. Do not use your money to buy status. Status is a hollow game where people gawk at your possessions, not you. Save money to buy your freedom. Build a buffer so you can live life on your own terms, without fear. Ronald understood this. He didn't build wealth to show off. He built wealth to secure his quiet independence. Doing well with money is not about being a genius. It is about how you behave. Behaviors are harder than math.
Let us know in the comments below which part changed your perspective on wealth. Subscribe for more.